Hello friends, welcome back once again to INBAC. In our last video, we have given you all a glimpse of what is coming up in this month. There are extremely talented INBACers who have joined us and we are symbiotically growing together. So we thought that we must celebrate this collaborative spirit and bring them on board to introduce each of them to you all. Most of our videos showcase INBAC's cause to bring about an awareness in building automation industry. An awareness that champions the cause of building systems in becoming connected, interoperable, energy efficient, data-driven, safe, and cyber-secure. In that context, let's discuss today few real-time hassles faced by users of building automation industry. Let's take an example. There's a commercial building which runs on proprietary protocol. One fine day, the building owner comes across a better solutioning. But there will be a big dilemma he will face. Whether to opt for the better solutioning, which will in turn cost him huge replacement charges, or to stay put. Quite a difficult choice, isn't it? Well, you don't have to worry about it. I have somebody here who can help you with the right answer. Shraddha, could you please advise us on this?
Hi Adrija, thank you
Hi.
so much for giving me this opportunity to address one very important facet of building automation industry. Especially now is the time when a lot of building owners and operators are facing the pinch, when they are on proprietary protocol. Well, I'm not sure if there is any right or wrong answer, but what I would say is there will be certainly a right fit answer, because as we all know, with respect to the uncertain times that are happening right now, we might be foreseeing some more in the future. A lot of customers, a lot of organizations may not want to take the risk of investing huge amounts. Right, so let us see, weigh the benefits versus the investments that will come in. So first thing is high energy costs that we are looking at. The older the system, especially on proprietary protocol, you'll start using more energy, and the equipment will be high energy consuming equipment. Secondly, in terms of operational costs, so if you have higher breakdowns, it requires higher maintenance costs. It requires higher costs that will come along with the breakdown. So that's the second. Third, and the most important thing is your dependency on that one particular channel who is owning the proprietary protocol, and you are completely dependent on that one vendor, one organization at whose behest you will want to either upgrade the system or stay put or whatever. And that's the biggest risk that I feel is there right now, especially in the building automation case. Going towards more standardized protocols, standardization, open protocols is what will help you depend on the technology and not on the particular organization or the company. We know that technology evolves itself. So every few years, we will have a new technology in place. That's a different problem to solve, because that's something that is the technology which will take care of technology, and hence it's a low risk proposition. So I would basically suggest all of the organizations, teams who are in this dilemma of whether or not to upgrade if you're on a proprietary protocol would definitely weigh these options out. And I'm sure going towards a standardized, going towards an open and collaborative platform is a better option in any which case. So we can decide and we can choose what options to go for depending upon how much is the investment that we are ready to put in, because always technology is scalable. You can start in phases, you can do as per how your budgeting, your finance and your internal targets will allow you to invest in. And I'm sure this would help a lot of audience who's facing this dilemma get through this question.
Now, there's another question that bothers me. Nowadays, best solutioning is often attributed to best marketing and sales. Without the products being standardized, how difficult will it be for the users to decide which solutioning to go with? And what is the way out? Still wondering? Okay, let me help you with an easy solution from Vikram. Vikram, would you like to start from the basics?
Hey, thanks, Adrija. And very well said, Shraddha. As Adrija requested, let us go to the basics. Let's understand the standard, standardization, and even standardized work. A standard is basically a rule or a guideline for how the work should be done. That's pretty simple. It can be described to define any characteristic of a process. So here are a list of few of them. For example, like say process parameters, equipment settings, times, time schedule, cycle time, layout of the equipments, parts, materials, equipments again, and some tools, colors, method of deployment, etc. So these are the different things which can be set for standard. You can create a common way or a standard way for doing all of these different things. Standards can be applied to everything you do or you are doing. It can be so basic that in case of fire alarm, we use a red cable. This is because any third-party operator or third-party system implementer can also understand that this is a fire alarm cable and he needs to deal with it properly. Maybe inside a automation panel, you might find a black-colored multi-standard cable which might indicate a negative or a return cable. Now let's move ahead and understand standardization. A standardization is simply a process of creating a standard or upgrading a standard. You got a standard or you're missing a standard. A standardization is what you do to create a new standard or take an existing standard or replace it with a better available or improved standard. That's what standardization is. So what is standard work now? Now let's understand this. It is a unique or standard method used to do something. This covers the sequence of work, the tools used, the methods one used to do the work. This is also called as standardized work. Standard work and the standardized work can be used as interchangeably. This is the best demonstrated way of doing something. I repeat, this is not just an idea, this is not just a theory, but it is something which is proven out, demonstrated way of doing something. I believe now you have realized that if we prepare standardization for a set of equipment running under different operating conditions, we can repeat the maximum energy saving achieved in one building, let's say in Mumbai, and repeat the same thing with no extra effort at multiple locations all across India. For this, we can use define a standard. We can define standardization and set up standardized work for system deployment.
Thank you for this amazing explanation. Excellent. Oh, wait. In the flow of this remarkable discussion, I almost forgot to introduce you all to our experts, to our exceptionally talented INBACers. We have here today with us Mr. Nitin Joshi, a remarkable industry veteran, Ms. Shraddha Majali, who has been kind enough to answer my first question. She is a phenomenal BA solutioning expert. Mr. Vikram Singh Patil, who courteously replied to my second question, is a seasoned BA expert, successfully leading his own company. Ms. Dipti Shetty, she is a proficient BA strategist and entrepreneur. And last but not the least, Mr. Rajesh Athangale, a known face to you all by now. He is a highly skilled industry veteran and the representative of this standardization committee. This group will contribute towards INBAC's cause to spread awareness about standardization. Coming back to the discussion, I want to know it from Mr. Nitin Joshi. Can you please talk about the advantages of open standards over proprietary protocols?
Yeah, sure. First of all, I would like to stress upon that the standardization is one thing and acceptance of the standards is another. We all know that India was proudly one of the first metric system in 1956. We all use kilograms regularly. But when it comes to weather temperature, we use degree centigrade. And when it comes to body temperature, we still use Fahrenheit. In developed countries like US and UK, metric system is partially used. It takes decades to shift to the standard regime. So what if each manufacturer is using their own protocols and standards? I mean, it is almost like there is no standard. Creating a standard is a huge effort by itself. So if each manufacturer develops its own standard, it adds to their cost. Obviously, customers pay for it. Secondly, customers lose flexibility to use any other manufacturer's products in the system. Take an example of addressable fire alarm system. Each manufacturer uses its own communication protocol to talk to devices like smoke detectors, MCPs, and sounders. So customer has to buy it as a complete system, and he hardly has any choice than to depend upon the same manufacturer unless he changes the whole system, which is not practical most of the time. Imagine what would have happened if every internet service provider would be having proprietary protocol. Today you can buy any suitable router from the market without having to depend upon the service provider. Building management systems are far more complex. They really integrate different functions. For example, lighting, HVAC, fire, access, etc. Today, due to lack of standardization or due to multiple standards in use, customers lose flexibility to maintain the system. Also, it adds to training costs. Well, there is one more angle to standardization which is crucial to our country. Standardization is the backbone of startup and MSME infrastructure. The startups and MSMEs shall afford the development only when they are able to focus on their expertise or niche, which can be integrated with the total solution of building automation project. It is impossible for any startup or MSME to implement, maintain, service, and upgrade the end-to-end solution, especially in case of such complex multidisciplinary domain. Only when the building automation products are standardized, startup and MSME infrastructure can sustain. Do you know why it is important to sustain startup and MSME infrastructure? Well, startup and MSME are low overhead and niche driven. The Union Minister of MSME, Honorable Nitin Gadkari, has highlighted MSME is a backbone for Indian economy. A total 30% of the GDP in Indian economy is contributed by MSME. Out of our total exports, 48% is also from MSME. Also, that he aims to take the contribution to exports from India to 60% from the existing 48%. This is only possible when we create products and services which are based on globally accepted open standards. Let me highlight for the benefit of our audience, globally accepted open standards.
Very well said, Nitin. Thank you so much for that revelation. Now, Rajesh, would you like to add to what Nitin has just said and also highlight the importance of standardization?
Yes, Adrija. I am of the opinion that standardization in building automation process will lead to a better synchronized efforts between all the stakeholders of the building. Current transition process from one stakeholder to another is much disorganized. We often observe coordination issues when project is being handed over from sales to project management and further to the service team, simply because there are no set guidelines. Ideally, standardization is expected to set these guidelines, which will enable smooth transition between different stakeholders. This handing over has to be as simple as in the way a 4 into 100 meters a runner hands over a baton to the next runner in a relay race. The standards are set for these athletes about the sporting attire they wear, their food intake, uniformity in their weight and height, And most importantly, the runner who will be taking a last lap has to be the best amongst them. The ultimate goal of this athlete is to win the race through their coordinated team effort. In our case, the benefits of standardization will be equally distributed to all the rungs in the ladder, be it end user or consumer, consultant or OEM, system installer or a service team. The policy definition can be in the form of outlining features of open protocols as compared to proprietary protocols, maintaining unique nomenclature while defining tags or graphic screens, creating a proper guideline for system integrators while installation, testing, and commissioning activity, creating a guideline for proper handing over from project management to service team and then to the end user, preparing a guideline for servicing and maintaining the system during the warranty and AMC periods. All this transition need to appear like a runner handing over a baton to the next one smoothly in a well synchronized manner with the only vision of winning a race. Winning a race for us means selecting a product that is truly open, interoperable, and intelligent. Seamless transfer of activity from one stakeholder to another, and finally a smooth handover of the project to the end user. The satisfaction of successful handover is like winning a race for our team.
Wow, amazing. A lot of learning for all of us. I think our viewers will agree with me as well. Now, I would like to know about the multiple advantages that data connectivity of building systems have brought in. Can anyone explain this?
Yes, Adrija, I might take this up. We all today are living in a connected world where the buildings and the related infrastructure is no exception. In fact, I would say we spend 90% of our lives in buildings, be it home, schools, offices, shopping complex, airports, etc. In this area of smart connected building, there's enormous amount of data being generated and exchanged between the various subsystems. You enter your office premise in your car. The access control card which you carry identifies you as a registered and authenticate user and allows you entry in your premise. You park your car and use the lift to enter your office floor. The thermal scanner and another level of access control lets you finally into your office space. The connected infrastructure of HVAC lighting systems takes input from the occupancy and the people count and adjusts the related office environment for your comfort. The facility management team needs to take actions based on the data being generated by these systems and schedules various operations to optimize the energy utilization. Just imagine what would have happened if there is no standard way of the data exchange between these various subsystems we talked about. The building automation industry has figured out that unless there is standardization of protocols to be followed, marriages of the various subsystems is not going to be possible. Digital transformations of building is going to give us all a very personalized experience. Various innovations are happening around the world based on the data being generated by the building. We are all deploying the AI, ML, and the digital twin technologies in buildings is creating a new revolution. The immediate access of data and the schematic about how the building is performing can enable owners and the operators to manage assets, energy, space, comfort in a very much free-flowing manner. And needless to say, all this is not possible without the data exchange and the data analysis on the data being gathered from the various subsystems of the building.
Thank you so much, Deepti. You have explained it very well. Now, Vikram, since you are a technology integrator, a master system integrator, we would like to know from you whether you use any standardization into your implementation.
Yes, Adrija. This is now getting really very well now. Many system integrators always focus on making standardization as a practice. Though system integrators provide customized solutions for the customers, but their focus always depends on the standardization. yes, there are a few segments wherein this is possible. I can give you some example. The example from standardization of engineering in building automation or control panels. Every project needs an automation panel. So if one has to design it conventional way, then one will have to have design functions in multiple modules made from scratch. Even if they occur in multiple panels, the problem remains like quality of documentation is not consistent, the recognition value of the diagrams is not high, and it consumes time at every design. But how things can be seen? There can be two aspects available here. The first aspect is product itself, and the second is engineering data of the product. One can work on modular engineering and deploy the standardization modules in automation panels too. Here, one can use identical designs, error-free tested subcircuits, reduce the variety of materials in the panel, etc. Now, due to this standardization, the diagrams become easy. They display high level of consistency, simplifies the production, increases the production rate, and further simplifies the downstream digitization process. I think this is the simple step standardization in building automation can be started by all. And that's it from my end.
Right, absolutely. Now, Nitin and Rajesh, I would love to know what are the challenges faced in making existing buildings to be connected?
Well, first challenge is standardization of protocols itself. As far as particular DDC controller or fire alarm or access control systems are concerned, mixing systems using different protocols is difficult. You need to use interface converters and protocol gateway. It requires technical expertise. It is not plug and play like computer networking. Secondly, we don't change these systems often like laptops or mobile phones. So each time you hire a new guy to maintain the system, you must train him on the specific system. The Internet of Things is adding to this complexity further. Today, the topic of hospital fires has come to the forefront. Imagine a hospital chain which wants to monitor the health of their fire alarm, hydrants and sprinkler system centrally. Just to add, today the fact is 80% of the places systems are installed but are not functioning. Now, if each hospital is having a different fire alarm system, it will require special expertise to integrate all such systems to monitor on the cloud. The efforts are being made by international bodies like ISO, IC, ITU to bring everything to the common platform. I think we must support this. All manufacturers should come together and support it in the larger interest. All standards bodies should come together to bring in true efficiency in the interest of customers and environment. Remember, finally, different protocol means more work, which adds to increased carbon footprint as well. Thank you.
Yeah. As Nitin said, I would like to add few more points here. In the past, building automation solution used to operate in a standalone mode. That means there was no synchronization between various building services like HVAC, electrical, plumbing, safety and security solutions, and all the third-party integrations within the building. So what was the use if the data generated by HVAC control couldn't be utilized for making the building safe, or electrical monitoring system was impractical to predict or save energy consumed by HVAC or lighting solutions. The biggest barrier to integrate all these services onto a single platform was the openness issue of these systems. All these solutions were working on proprietary protocols, making it impossible to talk to each other. However, scenario has changed now. End users have educated themselves and have recognized the power of open protocol and IoT-based solutions to keep the building services connected. customer has very well understood that the huge data generated by the modern age control solution cannot only be utilized for energy saving, manpower optimization, and safety and security of occupants, but also this data is shared across the different services within the building and to the different buildings as well.
Very interesting. Thank you, Rajesh. Now, Shraddha, would you like to summarize this discussion for our viewers?
Yes, sure, Adrija. So to summarize today's discussion, I would say that buildings produce an increasing number of data on energy generation and consumption. So if we could use the data that is being generated by all of the buildings to form a centralized rating system, maybe, where each building owner would know where he or she stands and how efficient is the building. Right? We already have certain standards, but here we're talking about more of real time, right? So if that is there. Second is, if you can collecting and making available reliable data on buildings can lead to enhanced consumer information, effective management of energy systems, creation of innovative energy services, business models, and financing schemes. Finally, big data is the key enabler for a reliable and effective policy making through statistics, building intelligence, and predictive models.
That was quite an apt conclusion to this gripping conversation, Shraddha. Thank you so much. And thanks to each one of you for bringing in all the knowledge and clear understanding. On that very note, I would like to end this discussion with a promise to meet you all again next week. Keep enriching, keep inspiring.